Okay, so now I'm going to work on ordering my fractions. So here's my problem. List these fractions in order from greatest to least. That means they want me to go from big to small. Now, I can't put these fractions in order because right now the way they are, because every single one of them has a different denominator. So the way that I order them is I change them from fractions to decimals. And the way I do that is I do more dividing. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you on this one, which is 1/2. That's one of our common fractions that we should have memorized, okay, as what the decimal is. But I'm going to work this one out, and then I'm going to do this one with our little trick. Okay, so let's start with 1/2. So I've got 2 as my denominator, 1 as my numerator, 2 on the outside, 1 on the inside, and my 2 zeros bring my decimal straight up. Now I know that 2 cannot go into 1. 2 is bigger than 1, it can't go into 1. So my 0 is going to go here. 0 times 2 is 0, subtract equals 1. This 0 gets brought down. Now I need to ask myself, how many times can 2 go into 10? 2, how many times can it go into 10? So I'm just going to use my fingers again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 5 times. So 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2, 10. Subtract 10 minus 10 is a big fat 0. Okay, so I can stop because I got a 0. So 1/2 is equal to 5/10 as a decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start my nice, neat list. Okay, so I'm going to do 1/2 equals 0.5. Okay, now 3/4. We have a trick for this one, and that is to think about $1. Okay, if I have $1, if I have 4 quarters, that equals $1. Okay, 4 quarters, $1. But if I only have 3 out of my 4 quarters, then that means that I have 75 cents. 3 out of 4 quarters. If I go to lunch and I give them 3 quarters, they're going to type into my lunch account that I have 75 cents. So what that means is 3/4 equals 0.75. 3 out of 4 quarters equals 75 cents. So for this one, I don't even have to do any math with this. Okay. Now, same thing for this one. If I have half of $1, that means that I have 50 cents, which is really, I can put a 0 at the end of that, and I have 50 cents. Half of $1 equals 50 cents. 3 out of 4 quarters equals 75 cents. So if you can remember that, you can skip all the division, and you can just go to this part right here. Okay? Now, let's move on to 2/3. So, I've got my 3 as my denominator. It goes on the outside. 2 as my numerator on the inside. I add my decimal and my 2 zeros, and I bring my decimal straight up. So now I just divide. 3 cannot go into 2, so a 0 goes here. 0 times 3, 0, subtract 2 minus 0 is 2. Now I bring this decimal down, and I ask myself, how many times can 3 go into 20? How many times can I count by 3s without going over 20? Now, 3 cannot go evenly into 20, but it can get very close. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay, that's as close as I can get to 20 by counting by 3s. So 6 is going to go here. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract here. 20 minus 18 is 2. If I put 18 in my head and I count up to 20, 18, 19, 20. 2. All right. Now I'm going to drop this 0 down. And once again, I have 20. So I got 20 here and I got 20 here. That's what I mean by repeating. So let's try to figure this out one more time and let's see what happens. So how many times can 3 go into 20? Well, it can't go in evenly, but I can count by 3s and get very close to 20. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 6 again. So this 6 is going to go here. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract equals 2. Now I could add another 0 here, bring it down, and I'm going to get 20 again. But what's happening? We're repeating, okay? So instead of just, I could do this forever. It would always be this. Bring your 0 down, 20. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, it would do this forever. So to show that something repeats, we put the repeat bar. Okay, so 2/3 as a decimal, 2/3 equals 66 hundredths repeating. Okay, now I could draw a 6, a 6, a 6, a 6, 6 all the way out here on my wall, but I'm not going to. That bar, that's what that's for, to show that it is repeating. All right, so I've got 3 out of my 4. So now I'm going to do my very last one, 7/12. And I believe I've got enough room just to fit it in right here. So I've got 12 is my numerator. Actually, you know what? I'm going to delete it. Or not delete it, erase it. So that we have plenty of room to work with. Okay? So I've got 12 as my denominator. That goes on the outside. And I've got 7 on the inside. Okay? I put my decimal in 2 zeros and I brought my decimal straight up. So now I need to ask myself, can 12 go into 7? No, it cannot. 12 cannot go into 7 because 12 is bigger than 7. So I'm going to put a 0 here. 0 times 12 is 0. Subtract here. 7 minus 0 is 7. Now I'm going to bring this this 0 down. And I need to ask myself, how many times can 12 go into 70? Now, I don't know that off the top of my head. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write my 12, my multiplication facts for the number 12. All right, so I've got 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2, 24. 12 times 3, 36. 12 times 4, 48. 12 times 5, 60. 12 times 6, 72. Now I'm going to stop right there because 72 is bigger than 70. So it can't be this one right here. So it has to be the one before it. The closest I can get 12 into 70 is 5 times 12. So my 5 is going to go here. 5 times 12 is 60. I'm going to subtract here. 0 minus 0 is 0. 7 minus 6 is 1. You want some waffles? Come here. Okay, we got some waffles. All right, so here's where we were. I had said that 5 times 12 is this 60 right here. 70 minus 60 is 10, okay? So now I've done this, then my next step would be to drop a 0. Now, just because this is a 10 does not mean that I still cannot drop a 0. So I've got to come way up here, drop this 0 down. So now I've got to figure out how many times can 12 go into 100. So if I come over here to where my multiplication facts for 12 is, I've got to keep going because I stopped at 72. So I need to keep going. So I've got 12 times 7, and that equals 84. I've got 12 times 8, that equals 96. And then 12 times 9, which equals 100 and 6, 7, 8, 108. All right. So 108 is bigger than 100. So I've got to go up 1 to 12 times 8. And 12 times 8 is 96. So 12 can go into 100 8 times. So my 8 is going to go here. 8 times 12 is 96. I'm going to subtract that, and I've run out of room, so I'm just going to come right over here. And I know that if I put 96 in my head and count up to 100, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. So 100 minus 96 is 4. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to write that 4. Now, I haven't gotten a 0 and nothing has repeated. So what I need to do is I need to add another 0, make this a little bit longer. Now this 0, I would drop it down, but it's really going to come right here because I had to move over because 100 minus 96 was the 4. And so I had to add another 0. That 4 comes right here, or that 0 comes right here. So now I just keep dividing. So I've got to figure out how many times can 12 go into 40. Well, now I've got all my 12 facts over here. And I can see that the closest I can get is this 36 right here. So 12 can go into 40 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36. 36 is going to go here. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to put 36 in my mind. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So 40 minus 36 is not 40, 4. All right, so I haven't gotten a 0, and it looks like this might repeat, but I'm going to check it. So I'm going to put it one more 0. That 0 would drop down and keep dropping to here. And once again, 12 can go into 40 3 times. As close as I can get is 36. So my 3 is going to go here. 3 times 12, 36. 40 minus 36 is 4 again. So look what's happening. I'm repeating. Now, what you need to know is this whole number right here is not repeating. Only the 3's are repeating. So my repeating bar is not going to go over the 5 and the 8. It's only going to go over the 3's. All right, so I'm going to erase this to give myself a little bit of room. Well, before I do that, I'm going to do 7/12 equals, this is my decimal right here, 0.583 repeating. Okay, so now I'm going to erase this. Give me some room to work over here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my list. I'm going to write it over here where I have plenty of room. So I've got 1/2 is 0.50. 3/4 is 0.75. Now notice when I'm putting my fraction decimal equivalencies, I'm lining up my place values. Okay, I've got my ones place, my tenths place, and my hundredths place. I'm lining them up in a nice, neat list. Okay, so I've got 2/3, and I've got 7/12, which was 0.583, and that 3 was repeated. Now notice, this decimal has a tenths, a hundredths, and a thousandths place. None of the other ones have thousandths place. So what I could do is I could put zeros in here to make them all have the same place values. Now, the reason I can do that is because these zeros do not change the value of these decimals. All right? So now, what I've got to do is I've got to now put all my fractions, my decimals, in order from greatest to least, from big to small. Now, the way I do that is I go place value by place value, row by, or column by column. Okay, so I'm going to start with this column right here. Now, if I only look at all these zeros right here, I cannot tell which zero is bigger than the other zeros because all these numbers are the same. So what I have to do is I have to go over to the tenths place. And I don't look at any of these, and I don't look at any of these. I only look at the tenths place, which is this one right here. Okay, now I need to know which one is the biggest. So I look at the 5, the 7, the 6, and the 5. Out of those 4 numbers, which number is the biggest? It is this 7 right here. So my biggest fraction that I have is 3/4. Okay, now that I've used that one, I'm going to cross it out. I don't need this one anymore. All right, now I keep looking in the tenths place. Now I have a 5, a 6, and a 5. So out of those 3 numbers, which one is the biggest? It is the 6 right here. So I know that my next fraction, my next smallest one next to 3/4 is 2/3. So 3/4 is my biggest, and then 2/3 is the next. We're going down in order. We're decreasing in order. So I've used this one. I don't need this one anymore. Now, my last 2 numbers in my tenths place are a 5 and a 5. Now I can't look at both of these 5s and say which 5 is bigger, okay? Because you can't compare 2 5s. They both have the same value, 5. So I've got to go over one more place value to the hundredths place, this one right here. Okay, so up here I've got a 0, down here I've got an 8. So I can tell if 8 and 0, I can tell which one is bigger, and it is the 8th, or the 8. So my next fraction that I'm going to have over here on my list is 7/12. Then I can mark this one out. And my smallest fraction that I have up here, because I'm going from greatest to least, big to small, so that makes my smallest fraction 1/2. This is my order from least, or from greatest to least. Okay? Now, if the question had said, list these fractions in order from least to greatest, it would be the other way. You would still do all the work the same, but your order would then be 1/2, 7/12, 2/3, and 3/4. When you go this way, it's least to greatest. When you go this way, it's greatest to least. Now, you go and practice these. There's no calculators on this section, okay? So work on these. There's practice problems on your Unified Classroom. Practice them. Good luck. I miss you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.